Joseph Wambua. Guest here, Mr. Joseph Wambua. Joseph Wambua, karibu sana kwenye show.
Asante.
Joseph Wambua, we understand you are former PA, the current leader, Mr. Harrison Mwaloko. What went wrong? Because of late we can see you are a very bitter person when it comes to anything to do with the leadership of Mwea. What led to the fallout between you and Mr. Mwaloko?
Thank you, Ben, and hello viewers all over where you are watching us from. Where? What? Ben, when I was given an opportunity to be the PA to Mwaloko, I took the duty passionately. You understand that I was involved in his campaign. We assisted him, and eventually he was elected as the mayor MCA. Therefore, he offered me a job to be as a personal assistant, and we started off very well. But you see, during our campaigns, there were promises that we made to the people, and actually people had a great expectation on our side. And therefore, Ben and the viewers, when we were doing campaign, people could see me in Mwaloko's team. Therefore, me being his PA and as well working in his office, people used to see me doing campaign, and people would ask me some of very fundamental questions that I could not even answer, because you know the work of a PA, you only take the duties that have been assigned to you. And therefore, it came a time around 2019 towards 2020, somehow I found that we were not following the course or the promises that we promised to the people. In my backyard, my village Kakindu, you will find that our people have never witnessed any development project from the county government, and they could ask me, what are you doing in that office if our roads are in these pathetic conditions? Our market doesn't have a transformer. What are you doing together with the Harrison? Therefore, Ben, I was under pressure to tell people what we are doing if they are not seeing anything. And therefore, it was my duty to inform the MCA what the people want and actually what they are asking for. And you see, he could not take my advice. He wished me away. And as we moved on, I felt somehow we are losing the track.
On that note, it is said that Honorable Mwaloko doesn't take any advice from professionals, from people. You know, in Mwea we have retired engineers, we have engineers who are still in the office, we have young men who are in various sectors. But if they go to advise him, he doesn't take any advice from anyone. It's like he's Mr. Know It All. You being his confidant and working with him closely, is that allegations true? Nukweli askizi any other person?
Harrison has been doing public meetings with the electorates, but I've never had him meeting the professionals. And therefore, if at all he gets advice from people, I doubt whether it comes from experts' point of view. And maybe, I don't know why he doesn't prefer consulting those people who are experts in various fields.
You being in his office, kuna allegations za very many corruption. starting with Wango Drift, Deoni Drift. Kuna pesa zinasemekana zilikuwa za tournament 800,000. Kuna pesa zinasemekana zilikuwa za bodaboda around 600,000. Hizi pesa hazijaonekana kwa ground zikifanya hii mambo, what the money was meant to do. Is that true that there is massive corruption in Mwaluko's office?
It is not true. When you say that there is massive corruption in Mwaluko's office, you include me.
Yeah.
And him being the elected leader, he has a role, that is an oversight role, and he also have a role in pushing budget to be passed, so that the money that has been allocated to the project, it could move on. But you see, in the awarding of contracts, Embu County Assembly MCAs, they have a very major stake in it. Therefore, most of these contractors that are undertaking development projects in Mwea, he has a very big say in them. And therefore, the case of Wango Drift, it has been done twice. You see, the first allocation was 3 million, the second allocation was 2.5 million. And when you look at the value of that money, it is not seen where it is. When it comes to the Deoni Drift, look at the kind of the structure that was done. It is 2 million project, but when you do your just an oversight outlook, you find it is work that is only worth 500,000 shillings. And therefore, when you hear people complaining of the shoddy work, seriously, there is a deficit in the projects that have been done during the time of one Harrison Mwaluko. And therefore, Ben, we need to be very serious, and people need to be enlightened. Civic education has to be done. We should not allow people the elected leaders, to mess up with the little that comes to our community. And therefore, as a community, we need to stand at the grounds and say no to shoddy work that has been witnessed. In fact, it is rampant.
Thank you very much. Shedding light on that. Now there's these allegations of water, Karaba bowl water. Saizi all guns are pointed to Mheshimiwa. Kunasemekana kuna bill ya 500,000 which is him yeye mwenyewe na his committee have embezzled that fund. Na pesa wananchi walikuwa wanalipa mita kama kawaida, but pesa iko inalipwa kwa mali na stahili kulipia bili ya stima. Is it true that yeye na committee wake wamekuwa wakikula hii pesa? Then on the same note, kuna hii mambo ya plots. Kuna plots zilikuwa zimeuzwa Karaba, and it was mentioned in several scandals about some plots in Karaba, some plots in Gategi. Alikuwa anauza hizi plots, na the plots zilikuwa zimewachwa na surveyor wa markets as public plots, zingine ni barabara, zingine ni toilets, market toilets. Is it true?
Then when it comes to Karaba borehole, I remember there was a committee before now the current committee, which is time expired, and therefore a new committee was put in place during Mwaluko's time. Stories started in a very small way. We could hear of stories of the caretaker of the borehole was using money, being given permission by the MCA to pay school fees. These things started slowly by slowly. Later, we could hear of the electricity bill that has risen.
Let me just disrupt you.
Yes.
Unasema the caretaker osa mbesa kuma kulako ya ndumaka laba na itume mbesa izi kwa school fees. School fees yake kana ya public ya siana sia mwe.
The lady who was in charge of selling the water at the water point, used to pay school fees to her children. Personally, he could handle the cash and use it to her benefit. So she was not doing that for public.
So the borehole was run as a personal property.
When you put a committee in place and you hear some complaints that are coming from that committee, as a leader, you need to take charge and get to look what is happening before everything is messed up. So when you look those people around him, and especially that committee, something was not ending up. And that was the right time that we should have looked and established what was the problem. Now see, the bill has risen to 500,000. Previously, this is a borehole that was well managed, and even this committee, before it took over, there was over 200,000 shillings in the bank. But when this committee took, now you see we are down to 500,000 shillings. And when as a leader, you put money, public resources, to clear bills that have accumulated as a result of embezzlement, it seems as if you support those who mismanage the borehole. And therefore, I think the best thing he would have done, he would have come with a better way before allocating those resources towards that borehole. We have Karaba borehole that is in the Karaba dispensary. He should have stopped putting more funds onto that borehole and concentrate on the new one, which would have served better. And these 500,000 shillings, he could have developed somewhere else other than putting money. And we have the same we have a similar facility in the nearby.
Right. Let's talk about the plots. Hizi plots zenye zilikuwa unasikia imejengwa usiku, asubuhi inabomolewa na wanakaraba na wanagategi. Inajengwa to an extent of a bitter fallout between him and ward administrator. Is it true that he was siphoning money from public by selling fake plots to them?
You see, Ben, when someone becomes a leader, and especially a politician, there are these people who surrounds you, who puts up demand that you cannot even meet. You see, to me, it's like it was a scheme by some of his good friends that they saw an opportunity on plots that were supposed to be used as dump pits at Karaba. They decided to subdivide among themselves and eventually sell to people in order to benefit themselves. Now, there was a meeting that was called a public baraza to look up on the matter, and the residents stood the ground and said that that land should not be changed into a different use. But he was undermined. He went ahead, he gave the committee, which was sharply divided, the Karaba Market Committee, which was divided, and to allocate the plots. Later on, you saw what the ward administrator did. He used the powers that has been bestowed on him and stopped that kind of nonsense. An MCA doesn't have powers on allocation of plots. This is an executive duty. Therefore, if it was an initiative that was started by the CC of land, it could have sounded better. But when issue of lands arises and you find the name of an MCA is being mentioned, know that wherever you see a smoke, there is fire.
Good. There are rumors from Gategi that business community from Gategi, which supported Honorable Mwea very much, they don't want him again. They don't want him in power. Why is it that and business community know they are neutral people, yeah? They are not interested in politics, but they'll support whoever will oil their businesses, either infrastructures or security. Lately, kuna so much rumors that the people who even organized fundraising dinner for him, they don't want to hear anything to do with Mr. Mwea.
When the campaigns were over, I was very close to the MCA. He requested the people who used to help him during the campaign to give him time and space to work for the people. Unfortunately, he forgot about their role in his leadership. In the first few months, he could call meetings, they could sit together, but eventually, slowly, he stopped consulting them, and even he stopped meeting with them. Time went by, and these people felt as if they have been left out. And you could see strangers sitting with him, keeping him company, and
strangers, by saying strangers, you mean those people who never supported him?
Yes, those people who were against Harrison Mwaluko became his best friends. He could they accompany him, and therefore,
and his best supporters and his generals and lieutenants, he dropped them after campaigns
completely. He was not left with anybody around him, except of one vice chairman of council of elders, Sila Mwaniki.
Yeah.
The rest, the young guys, the business community, they were all put off. And you see, if people assist you to get somewhere, kindly don't forget them. These are people who sacrificed their resources, their vehicles, to ensure that he becomes an MCA. And therefore, maybe he thought they would start asking him maybe for contracts and all these. Failure to hold the meetings and to consult them, it has taken him to where now we are currently.
Now, as we finish, can you advise Mwea residents to vote back Mr. Mwaluko? And what's your view, if given a chance, to spearhead or to decide for Mwea people where to vote? How will you check that initiative?
To the people of Mwea, you have eyes, you have ears. You will gauge and rate the work of one Honorable Harrison Mwaluko for the time that you have given him. If you find him worthy continuing, go ahead, give him time, give him more time. But surely, is it worthy? Is it valuable to get him back to the seat? To me, I have a contrary opinion. We need someone who will take Mwea somewhere. We need someone to restore the glory of Mwea back. We need someone, a professional, who will consult to the people. We need somebody who will take up representation of the people. We need somebody who will not collude with the contractors. We need somebody who will listen to the people. We need a leader. We don't need a Mr. Know-it-all. Therefore, pole kwa watu wa Mwea.
Thank you very much, Flashlight TV crew. And